Here on behalf of our friends from Wildwood Guitars in Louisville, Colorado. And but I'm in Wisconsin, my home, because of a little something called COVID-19. Okay? So here's the deal. Today, I've got some guitars that were sent to me. They sent me 4 new guitars, and this morning I started to unbox them. I see you called. Free now? No, I am not. Live streaming. So many activities. Anyway, so I opened up the cases, and I thought, holy cow, good times. Guitars aplenty. But then I realized there was water in the basement. Somebody might say, didn't you get an extension cord yet for this? I couldn't concentrate on an extension cord or anything else today because I had sewage water in the basement, ladies and gentlemen. I got to tell you that is a fragrant substance, okay? I'm going to decline that call from Mr. Brando. Sorry, Mr. Brando. A little busy right now. Okay. So anyway... I'm just going to share this. That's why I got my phone out here. I'm going to share this to various ports of call. So the 2 guitars I took out today, there's 4. I figure I'll do 2 today, Thursday, and I'll do 2 again next Tuesday. Today's Thursday, right? Yeah, next Tuesday I'll do the other 2. So the 2 I have today are interesting morsels and kind of on different ends of the price world. In terms of value, well, I don't know in terms of value, but in terms of price, they are definitely different in that regard. The one what I thought would be fun is there's a 51 Nocaster from the Fender Custom Shop, and it's with this new funky wood that makes it ultra light, and that's what they're called, ultralights. Something that Wildwood is doing as a special edition of the Wildwood 10s. Ultralight Nocaster made out of Polonia wood. Which reminds me of that song, Una Polonia Blanca, I'm just a farm animal. I don't know what the words are to that song, but you remember I used to go to weddings back in the day, you'd be dancing around, Una Polonia Blanca. I don't know what those words are, but it feels good to just say random things. I'm going to write a post here because I'm going to share this over here. Una Polonia Blanca. Anyway, so, you son of a Sasquatch in heat. I get so aggravated sometimes with technology. Why? As my son would say, it's boomer hours. That's what he would say to me. That means when boomers are doing their thing. Although technically I'm not a boomer, I'm a Gen Xer. I try to tell them that, but I'm kind of a de facto boomer. What's the cutoff date? It's like 1964, right? I was 66, so. Polonia, you're right, Spider. Roses are red, Teles are cool, says Kurt. Kurt, what's going on down there in Texas? Una Polonia Blanca. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. I'm sorry, I'm going to post this one more time over here in a place called the Gristle Kingdom. Anyways, folks, listen, here we are. Sorry about that. Sorry for that. Love your new podcast. Thank you, David. Speaking of which, this morning, there's new podcasts that drop every Thursday, if I can use that term drop. Because I know that's for the kids, and I'm technically a boomer hours. But really I'm not. Technically I'm a Gen Xer, but I guess whatever. It's all stupid. Today, the David Grissom podcast was unleashed. My buddy David Grissom, Texas guitar player extraordinaire. Doesn't matter where he is. If he's in Texas, he's great. If he's in Wisconsin, he's great. If he's in Alaska, doesn't matter where he is. His quality is unsurpassed. So check that out. Good discussion with David, always. So what happens is that with the Wildwood, what we call Wildwood at Home, the video series, they're chopped up. So there's like 5 different editions that come out. With the Chew and the Gristle podcasts, which are available wherever podcasts are consumed, on Apple or Spotify or whatever the heck. They're in their entirety. So they are about an hour long of chit-chattery. And as I said, today was the David Grissom one, Unleashed. Can you dig it? Will you dig it? All right, so I'm kind of losing my mind, which is all right because they had to do a great battle with basement sewage, and that was unpleasant. So This guitar is so light. You know what? It's ultra light. That's what they're calling them. You know why? 5.48 pounds. This is actually a top loader. A top loader Tele, even though it's a 51 Nocaster, based on a 51 Nocaster. Anyways, it's the top loader bridge, so it's not going through the body. It's just a big chunk of Paulina. Paulina Blanca. I'm just an animal. Sounds good. It's a good sounding guitar, this guitar. Made of Paulownia wood, which is close to ash, maybe a little mellower. It rocks, though. I'll tell you what, this guitar resonates like a bass of the night. Guitar sounds good. I don't know what that was. I lost control there for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. That happens. You know why? Because Polonia. When your spirit is taken by the power of Polonia, it ain't no Bologna. Did you hear that? It ain't no Bologna when you get a hold of a good piece of Bologna. Mm-hmm. Good sounding guitar. Diggity dog on it. These are hand-wound Josefina pickups to Wildwood specification. Wound for Wildwood. You like that? I like the way that sounds. Wound to Wildwood. She ran calling Wildwood. I don't know if she did call. If she said that, Miss Josefina, maybe as she was whining him, she kept on saying, "Oh, Wildwood," you know, singing along as she's whining away to Wound to Wildwood. Okay, they pickup sound magnifico. like rock. I like rock music. This guitar is an implement of said idiom. A rock and doggone roll. Yes. It's all good for you. Like that squishy, squishy neck pickup. Ooh, delicious. Is it Mike Racco's birthday out there? It's Mike Rackowicki's birthday today. Michael Rackowicki's birthday today. Michael Rackowicki's birthday. Michael Rackowicki's birthday. He is 52 years old. I am 2 years older than you. We're both Gen X. Someone asked what this guitar is. I want to say it again. I want to say it loud. I'm going to say it proud. It is a Fender Custom Shop Wildwood 10 Ultralight. Ultralight Nocaster. And it only weighs 5.48 doggone pounds, okay? 5.48 doggone pounds. Look at this guitar. It's quite attractive. It's quite comely. It's a comely guitar. The wood is Polonia, which, as I mentioned before, is featured in a song called Una Polonia Blanca. Oh, I'm just a tone wood that's really light. Una Polonia Blanca. Wow, I've lost it. You know why? Had to deal with sewage in the basement. Sewage in the basement. Sewage in the basement. What a doggone drag. Smells really bad. It's mixed in with a little nature's sangria. It's called Pia. Dig it, dig it, dig it. Anyway, yes, this is a guitar that was sent to me by Wild. It's so light, it's unbelievable. Look at the back of that neck, looks sexy too, doesn't it? Look at the back of the neck. It looks so doggone nice. It's kind of toasty. It's a big old C neck on here. The big old C. 10-inch radius, 6105 frets, quarter sawn neck. And it's got those hand-wound pickups by Josefina. Josefina hand-wound what? Wound to Wildwood. That's what they're called. Special Wildwood spec pickups. Although they're wound to Wildwood. We got to get the jargon right because Wildwood spec is something else. That's from a different manufacturer that Wildwood does stuff with. But these are Nature's Sangria, right? I don't know where that came from. It came from my basement dwelling moments earlier today when I was using a variety of very specific expletives to describe my experience in the basement, mopping up and bleaching water of a questionable origin. And the fine company that had to come over here 4 times to figure out that we had, the aunts. Remember the trees in Lord of the Rings? Well, apparently they're living in the pipes leading from my home to the sewage facility. And they're waging war against Saruman in my sewage container. I like it. Top loading bridge on here, folks. As you can see, doesn't go through the body. It's a top loader. It's a top loader there one time. When this guitar gets to Wisconsin, it starts talking like this. Hey, I'm a top loader. You put those strings right through the top of the bridge. You don't go through the body. Actually, I don't know anybody that talks like that, but I enjoy talking like this right now. It seems to be satiating some deep-seated desire to sound ridiculous. Whatever. No modifications. This one's just out of the box. I got it, I unloaded it, and I tuned it up, and now I'm playing a Trudis amplifier. What is the knob on the mixer titled? It's called the Savagery knob. You are correct, Peter V. Dig the neck. That's squishy. I'm going to tell you that right doggone now. Top loader, more sound, says Bob. It is a chunky neck. It's a big old C shape on here. Big C. There's a question out there, ladies and gentlemen. Sir Greg, what is your favorite of the Friedman amps, and have you ever used it live? I had a delicious combo. It's lurking somewhere. I think my buddy George Davies has it right now. I had a Friedman Loudbox 50, the Wildwood edition, in a one single 12 combo. And two channel, it's three channels, but I would use the two channels on it. And I would set one channel just kind of like plexi, so it's just starting to bark a little bit, and I'd go down the volume knob and it'd get down cleany, turn it up, start to bark a little bit, hit the other channel. I did a gig with it's on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, which is Greg Koch, oddly enough. It was years ago, and I did a version of Welch's Grape. I think we did a version of Real Motherfucker, yeah, a couple other little ditties. And I'm wearing sunglasses, and I'm in a tent, and Dylan's playing drums, Eric Kirby's playing bass, and Theo Merriweather's playing keyboards. Spread it. And yeah, so if you want to hear that, that was with a Wildwood 10 Tele with my Fishman Fluence Gristletone pickups in it. A Wildwood 1055 Tele. This is a Wildwood 1051 Nocaster Ultralight with Polonia wood. Una Polonia wood. You're so doggone light. You're so doggone light, Polonia. Anyway. Sorry, I've got... do I have a favorite set of strings? You know, interestingly enough, people used to ask me back on the day, what kind of strings do you like to use? And I would always say, free ones. Oh, you wiseacre, you. And then I have always used D'Addario. I like D'Addario strings, and then I got to deal with them. So, and then I started using those NYXLs. They're fantastic. So I use 10 through 46 NYXLs from our friends at D'Addario. D'Addario. D''Addario. 10 through 46. There were a while there I was using 11s. And they were comfy to use. The guitar stayed in tune just a little better, sounded a little bit more robust. But the problem is that every time I'm doing the videos for Wildwood, I'd grab a guitar off the wall. They all have 10s. So I'm like, forget it. I'm just going to join the 10 crew again. Joining the 10 crew. So I use 10s, just so it's the same. My Polonia, the knack, right? I like what you did there. I think we are in league. Do you prefer a top loader or through body, Kochmeister? That's a good one, Mason. I don't know. I've never really played a whole lot on a top loader. I will say that this guitar sounds pretty damn good to me. I know there are those that have strong opinions about this one way or the other, but it sounds good to me right now. Is that the balanced tension 10 through 46? The ordinary 10 through 46? I don't even know what that means. I'm so unbalanced that I wouldn't know balanced or not. So there you go. Pure nickels. You know, I used to like pure nickel strings, but I broke them. I used to like the sound of them, but for whatever reason, I broke the pure nickel. For whatever reason. And then I went to nickel-plated steel for a long time. I really enjoyed that. But the MIXLs, I don't even know what the hell's on them. They might use Scooby-Doo juice on those, but I like them. Scooby-Doo Juice, Magical Elixir, brought to you by D'Addario and their NYXL and NYXL strings. A lot of people don't know they use a little Scooby-Doo Juice. They went right into the animated world and culled it from the saliva of the Great Dane, known as the Scoob-Doo. His exotic food choices made for a special compound in his saliva that was, oddly enough, really conducive to string making. And then they crossed into the animated realm, able to come back into the 3D realm that we dwell in and make some fine strings. So that's what I use. What? I don't even know what I just said, but it felt really good. You broke EAD strings? Well, I broke whatever. I used to have all nickel strings I used to use. I forgot who made them, but I'd pop those. I think the Fender strings back in the day that were all nickel, I'd pop those sons of guns more often than I would. And then I figured nickel-plated steel was good for a while. And then, now, as I said, I don't even know. I don't know what the hell I use now. I know they're NYXLs. I don't even know what they made. They could make them with shards of the sword of, whatever, Glabdring, whatever the elven sword was that Gandalf wielded. What? The NYXLs are special dispensated. I like the Scooby-Doo juice spiel better. I'll go with that. Scooby-Doo juice. Scooby-Doo juice. Scooby-Doo juice. Scooby-Doo juice. Anyways, Greg, have you tried the 70th anniversary Esquire in Surf Green? I have not yet, Tom. I have not, but at some point I will, and I will feel its power, and then I will make up something strange about it. But I really like this guitar. It's nice and light. I do like light guitars, ladies and gentlemen. Not that I, sometimes you find a guitar that's a little heavier and it sounds good. There's nothing wrong with it. But I seem to gravitate. I seem to gravitate towards lighter instruments, especially as I get older, or as my son Dylan says, when I'm engaging in boomer hours. I don't even know what that means. Boomer hours. What? Anyway, I'm going to switch over to need the juice to wash down the snacks. Mark, I don't even know what that means, but I'm in. If anyone's wondering why I haven't got this chord yet, is that every time I think about it, I have to deal with something else in my life that supersedes it, like sewage in my basement. Fourth time this month. I think we got it this time, though. Strange story, but today I was doing battle. Bleach was used, ladies and gentlemen. I was down there doing battle in the basement. Have you ever played a Mystical Parker Fly? I have. You know what? I think I've played one back in the day. I can't really remember anything about it, other than that I was like, "This is cool. You can get pretty good acoustic sound, and then switch over to the electric." I wish I was in a Zeppelin cover band and playing that guitar because it'd be awesome. Because you can go, sound all acoustic-y, and all of a sudden, skago, skago, hanga digga doidle, hanga digga dunga digga shoidle, staku, staku. You know what I mean? Those words aren't real. Anyway, Steven says, impossible to find the Koch amp, the Greg in Canada. Would love one. That is so odd, Steven, because the distribution company is located in Canada. I don't know why it should be hard to find, but you know what? I can't really speak to it because you can, I would say, get a hold of the Koch people through their website, Koch Amps, and say, hey, bros, I want an amp. I'm in Canada. How can we make this happen? How can we make this thing go down? And they'll go, get a hold of Festus McCracken over at the distribution company, and he'll tell you that you can go down to Slim Heskovitz Music, Slim Bolojevich, Polonia Music, Polonia Music in beautiful Saskatchewan. None of these things are real. But I'm just saying they will tell you where those amps are lurking in Canada, and it'll be made manifest. And then you'll plug into it, and you'll turn yours all the way up, and you'll say to yourself, now I'm ready to do battle with the aliens when they come sometime next week, which is what we're being led to believe. What? Sorry, the voices in my head were talking again. It's hard to find a Koch amp in Tasmania. That doesn't strike me as odd, okay? I'm not sure, although I have a buddy of mine, Brian Ritchie, who's in a band called the Violent Femmes, who's originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He lives in Tasmania. So I want you to get a hold of Brian and say, Brian, where's the Koch amps in Tasmania? If anyone knows, you'll know. And he'll go, I don't even know what you're talking about. And it'll be great. So make all that happen. What is the favorite guitar in your collection? You know what? Raphael, I'm sorry. Greg, I am poor and my tone sucks. What can I do? You know what? You know what my favorite guitar is? The one I'm playing in the moment. So sometimes I grab a guitar that is, the only part guitars are supposed to inspire, and of course the tone is, something that inspires you to play when you're playing it. But I like guitars of all manners. I like really expensive guitars. I like middling guitars. I like cheap guitars. Whatever I'm playing it in the moment is the guitar I dig. Life is easier that way. Am I right or am I right? Anyway, someone asked about Gunsmoke. I always look down at the screen and just see like random posts. Sometimes I'm not in on what I might have said earlier on. Lord have mercy. All right, so again, this is the Nocaster. Now, just for the hell of it, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Fender Custom Shop Wildwood 10. So that means quarter saw neck, 10-inch radius, 6105 frets. Got to be of a certain weight. Obviously, this one's really light because it's an ultralight delineation. It's 5.48 pounds. I believe in the Mike Masters says, get a job and practice. Wow, I don't even know what that means. Your best Albert Lee licks. Well, there's a bunch of Albert Lee licks that are fun to pass along are. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. Okay, now I'm going from this guitar to my actual 53 Telecaster just to see the difference, okay? Just to see the difference. So these are custom shop pickups wound by our friend Josefina. Still January for your P90 Tele? Yes, as far as I understand it. All right, let's go over to this morsel right here. And let's see what we got. It's a neck pickup is wimpy but delicious. Right? So that is a 53. The only thing is, like, if I put any more heat on that rascal, it's going to howl like a beast because the pickups are a little on the microphonic side. But interesting. Any Little Feat signature licks that come to mind? All right. phaser has been deployed. Yoey hoey. So there you go. For those who want an ultralight Telecaster, it's in the name. It's ultralight. How are you? Steve Ogden asks, you ever into Mike Bloomfield? Of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, this guitar right here is a 72 Tele thin skin. So this is a special thing that Wildwood does. It's a Gibson. It is a Fender USA 72 Tele thin skin. So it's got thin coat. Flash coat of the old nitro, I believe. I think that's what's happening. 8.1 pounds. It's a little heavier. Wide range humbucker in the neck, and of course the regular Tele bridge pickup in the back. Yeah, let's hear what this sounds like. And again, I'm not messing with the EQ at all in the amp, so you can really hear the diff. Can you dig it? You can really hear the diff. Oh, yeah. That's the neck pickup, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Hey, that sounds pretty good there with that neck pickup. So we got neck pickup with the bridge and I'm going to tune up a little bit. Again, these guitars are right out of the doggone box. This is a Fender Thin Skin from Wildwood Guitars, a 72 Telecaster. And in this delicious red, Crimson Mistress. Crimson and clover, over and over. All right. Mason asks, what are the notes in that alternating fast triplet swing riff you played? Or this thing? See if I can do a little. Give you a little zoomed in there, Mason. I'll give you a little zoomy do. So I put it on. Something like that, when I can do it right. Oh, diggity. Got a nice finish on this rascal, though. Thin skin, what a savage device. Thin skin. Ooh. Song called Thin Skin. Song called? Or did I say thong called? That sounds weird. Back over here. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Good sounding guitar. It's a good sounding guitar, doggone it. A song called The Grip from back in the day. A song called The Grip for the kids. Kind of a maniacal chicken picking rock and roll selection for the kids. Ladies and gentlemen, this guitar once again is one of them. It's a Wildwood special order situation that they did with Fender USA. It is a 72 Tele thin skin. Thin skin. This one is serial number V08335. You got that wide range humbucker and a delicious Tele pickup in the back. They work together and they unleash the beast. You can engage in all kinds of musical savagery with this instrument, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to judge what you decide to do with it, but they sent it out to me to taste of its powers, and it feels damn good. Crimson Harlot. Crimson Harlot of the night. Still got the plastic on there, right? So it is free from my juices, I guess is what I'm looking for. The word I'm looking for is juices. This is the when you play for it, but you know where the extra money went. What's that? This is not that much money. This guitar. This is not that much money. $4,600? No. The other guitar, that's a little more expensive. The custom shop instrument. The real light one right here. This one is so light, and it's got some doggone hand-wound pickups, and it's made on the custom shop, so it's a little more expensive for Rooney. But this one, not so much. But hey, you know what? I just play them and have fun with them. You want to take them, bring them to your home, and have them be your special guitar pet. That's on you, okay? That's on you, my cyber friend. That's on you. What you get to with your guitars in the privacy of your own home is your personal business. We don't judge. We don't judge here on the internet. Actually, that's not true. There's judgment going on all the time on the internet. What kind of questions we got out there? It's about that time for me to check out. It is 3:57 in the afternoon. Oh, yes, the blonde one does it for me. Yeah, I'm with you. I want the thin line because the neck pickup is slippery sexy. Russell, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm having a delicious bit of this red juice out of a mason jar. Red juice out of a mason jar. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's delicious. Oh, my God. That is so tasty. I like the sound of light. Robert, I'm with you. The sound of light. How's it going down there in Australia? Robert is down in Australia. He's causing trouble. John says, you are a beautiful beast of guitar wisdom. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that kind of sentiment. Kind of consider myself a guitar beast. Guitar beast, guitar beast. Quarantine, everyone shows their good stuff online. We use stream extraction for our grape juice. I like it. Russell, I'm all for it. Mason Jar, I see what you did there, Mason Pitts. Can you dig it? Do you have any tunes about Russia? I don't. I have been to Russia a couple times. First time I was there, I played with the trio at some kind of it was kind of like a Russian NAMM show. It was in a big facility off of Gorky Park, if I'm not mistaken. Beautiful park, as I recall it. And we rocked with the intensity of 1,000 Suns. I'm just going to tell you that right now. The first day we rocked, pretty decent crowd there, but then word got out the second day. Word got out and people showed up in quantity, and we proceeded to pummel. The power of rock filled the Russian night. People just drank it in. Delicious. And had some borscht in Russia. Had some borscht. I had given up drinking by then, so I did not engage in the vodka slinging, although others in my party did. There was, because that's kind of a thing. People like to consume their beverages. And I'm not judging, okay? Because Lord knows, had it been a few years prior to that, I would have been engaging in that kind of piratical activity. But by then, I'd already become a member of the sobriety community. Sobriety community. Sobriety community. Well, that's a good song right there. Clean living. What? It wasn't Shtuliknaya. There was what was really crazy about Russia. We got some time, right? Telling Russian stories. We were with the guy who was distributing. He was part of the company that was distributing Fender in Russia, and he was taking us out for dinner. So we're at this hotel, and he picks us up, and we're walking down the street. He's like, "Let's get a couple cars." I'm like, "You mean cabs?" He's like, "No, you just hail cars and make a deal." I said, "Excuse me?" So sure enough, he went, couple of cars pull over, and he starts speaking in Russian. He pulls out this big wad of American dollars and goes, starts speaking I can't speak Russian, so I won't even try to do it. But he made a deal, paid him in American dollars, and we get in these cars with these totes strangers and drive to this restaurant. We get to this restaurant, we start feasting. And the guys that I was with brought up various different kinds of vodka, and they were just consuming. And I was drinking coffee because that's my thing, right? So by the time we were done, they were official Cossacks, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then we proceeded to, I don't know how we got back, but a similar arrangement was made with the vehicles. And we went back to our hotel. And then we rocked. Can you dig it? Russian story. Belarus is in chaos right now. Hello from Portland, Oregon. Greetings. Portland, Oregon. Oh my goodness. Ooh, something fell down there. How come you don't say you betcha? Well, that's more of kind of a Minnesota thing. Minnesota. You know what we do say here that I don't think anyone else says is we say, come here once. Come here once. Hey, listen once. Why once? Why just one time? Come here once. I only want you to come here one time and then out. A little Wisconsin saying. Does anyone else say that? Come here once. Doesn't make any sense. Cheers from Nepal. Hey, Nepal. Paul says, my COVID test came clean this morning. Bless your heart. This was the second best part of my day. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you're A-okay. You betcha was in Fargo. It was in Fargo there one time. You know, there's it depends on where part of what, the up north. The up north you're talking about. Greg, how loud do you play when you're at home? Well, during these things, we're pretty loud. When I play with Dylan, it gets loud. I have my Greg amp about halfway up. I know I'm still tethered. Folks, I'm going to get an extension cord for this thing. I wanted to get one the other day from the Best Buy, but they didn't have any in stock, so I had to order one, and I didn't for some reason. I'm going to take care of it today, but I was sidetracked by the sewage in my basement. The sewage in my basement. So many activities. These COVID days are just so filled with activity. I'm totally grateful that no one's sick in my home and I don't have any of that stuff going on. And luckily, we've been able to maintain gainful employment and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not complaining in the least. I'm just saying, folks, I've talked to other people about this, and I think many of you may agree. The time is just flying by, is it not? These days go by so doggone fast. You're busy all day doing this, that, and the next thing. All of a sudden, you're like, is it Saturday today? Oh, the weekend, thank God. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's Thursday. You're like, what happened to those other days? What's going on here? And it just time is just going. So it's crazy. Someone asks, is this room soundproofed? It is not, Nathan, and that is a source of contention. So we're actually considering doing a remodeling thing. If we'll see what happens. Turning the garage into another story on the garage and putting a studio maybe up there, or some kind of thing. I'll have to engage in some organized crime in order to fund it. But you know what? Hey, I'm just kidding. You know, my credit is just as good as anybody else's. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back in debt. It's my motto. Anyway, time flies when you're drunk. True, Wayne, but I don't drink, so it's that's not it. Ciao, Greg. Greetings from Norway. Any plan to come over anytime in the future? Well, we certainly we had something planned for the fall to go overseas, but that, needless to say, is not happening. So we're actually reformulating our European jaunt, our UK jaunt, and so on and so forth from a year from this fall, because we figured that'll be safe, hopefully, to come over there, because I don't think any time before then would be prudent with the way things are going. But we'll see. Do I get a good discount from Wildwood? Yes. Do I listen to Mike Bloomfield? Absolutely. I did. I've always been a fan of course, the Super Session record. I do like the live adventures of Al Cooper and Mike Bloomfield. I like the other edition that they put out not long ago. There's some good stuff on there as well when Johnny Winter sits in. Pretty damn cool. And I got a record, that compilation anthology thing. Well, not really an anthology, but a compilation thing. Of Mike Bloomfield's, from his hands to his head to from his head to his hands to whatever that title is. And there's some excellent stuff on there. Is it musically arrogant to refuse to do covers? You know what? I do covers if I feel like it. But it depends what mood I'm in. You know, I don't think it's if you feel like doing it, you do it. I mean, I have written a lot of songs, and I consider myself pretty creative in that regard. So I have literally hundreds of my own songs released on records going back 30 years. So in a perfect world, I like it when people request my own songs. But I do understand that people want to hear, hey, do that Zeppelin thing, or do that Cream thing, or play a little Hendrix. And if I'm in the mood, I do it. Sometimes I'm like, not so much. So, what? Do you play better when you're drunk? I wouldn't know. You don't know the difference. You know what? It was interesting. I never would get drunk before I'd play. That was never a thing. You just drank as you played. And then by the end of the night, you got your swerve on, as I'd like to say. It was always afterward, because the music was always a sacred proposition. Although there were you hear about, Skinner, and back in the day, those guys would, what was, I think it was some famous jazz saxophone player. They said, how can you play when you're drunk? And he goes, well, I practice drunk. I thought that was funny. Not good advice, mind you. What? Play us one we know. A lifetime of playing working man's clubs. You get used to that heckle. Yeah. And then, of course, yelling Freebird. They still think it's funny. Play Freebird. Oh, that is so funny. I get it because we're a band and you're here and you think it's funny to say Freebird. I get it. There was a period of time I did a bunch of instructional DVDs for Hal Leonard, most of which are my own stuff, some stylistic stuff, and they asked me to do one on the Leonard Skinner stuff. I did a blues one and a Leonard Skinner one kind of in the same couple of days. So, and I had to pick out various different parts of songs to show signature licks, if you will, of these different songs. So I could pick out what parts of the songs. I wasn't doing the songs in their entirety. That wasn't part of the series. It was show the signature licks, right? So one of the tunes was Freebird. So I learned Freebird pretty well, if I may be so bold. And so right around that time, if we were playing in clubs and people would go, play Freebird, we'd launch into it and their face would melt. You would literally see the bone and sinew just glaring in the lights as it peeled away to the naked skull as we rocked Freebird into the night. Let that be a lesson to you, Freebird heckler. You're going to ask for it. You're going to get your face melted. Wow, that was a turn, right? But it did. Raphael asked, Greg, why are Les Pauls so awful to play? That has not been my experience, Raphael. I do enjoy a good Les Paul when they're ripe for the picking. I love Les Pauls. I got to be honest. Although I was more of a 335 guy because I'm a big fella, and but I do love Les Pauls. I do love Les Pauls. Free Fortnite. I don't know what that means. 71 black custom. I do like customs. I always liked standards more because all my idols played them. But being at the Wildwoods, and I get to play a bunch of different guitars, customs sound really good. You get a good custom. Sometimes they're heavy, though. But, man, they sound good. I don't know why. Maybe it's the ebony fingerboard. I don't know why. I used to think it was because it was more mahogany, but I guess they have a maple cap just like regular Lesters. So you never know. Lester Palfus, indeed. Tom asks a very interesting question. What is your favorite Indian cuisine dish? Well, I usually like to go to buffets and just kind of graze on whatever they happen to have. And there's some excellent buffets in my community. However, if I go to a place and it's, you have to order something off the menu, I usually get a little chicken vindaloo. I like that chicken vindaloo, and I like it hot. And then I like aloo gobi. That's my favorite little side dish. And then we get a little garlic naan to go with it. Pow. Bam. Tish. But the buffet is the way, because I do enjoy it. Any fuzz is a good fuzz? Just curious. Chris Walker, fuzzes are a persnickety beast. I do find that there are some good fuzzes. I have had some different. Some of the Jim Dunlap fuzzes sound magnificent. I had the Joe Bonamassa one, Joe Le Bonami, if I can name drop for a moment. Someone asked if I've ever played with Joe. Yes, many times. You can find evidence of that on the inner Google. I'm also doing that Woodshed guitar experience that Andy Wood put together, who's a magnificent guitar player in his own right. Joe Bonamassa is going to be on that. Myself, Andy Timmons, Brent Mason, Mark Lettieri. It's going to be a blast. That's at the end of this month. I believe there's some spots available, and it's a very safe environment as far as the pandemic precautions are concerned. Anyway, his fuzz sounds great. It's a Dunlap product. I also had my buddy Tim Yarnig makes a great fuzz. We were kind of tweaking him over the years, and the final iteration was the F-Bomb. The F-Bomb 3 sounds fantastic. BSM, a German company, made one called the Fuzz Bender that I really liked. My buddies from Greece, Jam, Giannis and the gang, Emmanuel, they're good times. I like those fellas. They make one called the Fuzz Phrase. It's got a picture of Jim on it, Jim Hendrix, and that's an excellent fuzz pedal. I find that the fuzz has to be the first thing in line, though. If you start messing with other pedals, after it gets a little poopy because of, I don't know, stuff. Hello, my friend. Why don't you play any Gretches? Every time I watch you are live. I love the Reverends, but a Gretsch 6120 or Falcon. You know what? I do like Gretches, but for my style of playing, the one that I would need would be more of the Brian Setzer ones because they're kind of battle tested for the way I play. I play. The bridge can't move. You know what I mean? I gotta have them dialed in such a way where they would. I had a Reverend Horton Heat model for a while. And I did enjoy that guitar. But you know what? I really like the Reverends with their version of the Filtertron, those retro blast pickups. Those sound fantastic. So I dig those. But Gretsch's are beautiful, especially some of the custom shop stuff that Wildwood gets. I've been playing, man. They're delightful. For whatever reason, I just haven't pulled the pin. My wife will tell you I have enough guitars. What? What's a cool, great sounding small tube amp? Oh, there are many. I will tell you. I will tell you this, my friend. One of the amps I used quite a bit over the years and still love is a Fender Pro Junior. 2 knobs, volume, tone. They're relatively inexpensive, and it's a pure tube amp sound. I love it. So we are working on a smaller iteration of my amplifier from Koch amplifiers. There's going to be a Greg Jr., and then there's going to be a smaller one even from that. That's going to be more akin to kind of inspired by a Pro Junior, but it's going to have just a little bit more flexibility in terms of tone options. Can you dig it? The Blues Junior is a great amp. Absolutely. I've gigged with Blues Juniors many, many times. Sometimes of course, Deluxes are great. Princetons are great. But Pro Juniors, I get them and then I sell them, and I always get new ones, and I get them. I'll find one in the store. If I see one used, I usually just buy it. I've got a white Tolex one right now. Cool. Sounds great. Dolph is a great guy. Absolutely. Do you ever play Univibes? I do. I've had a bunch of different ones. I think my current favorite one is the one that Jam Pedals makes. But I have harmonic vibrato on my amp, which sounds very, very similar to a Univibe. So I just use that. Although I have been having fun with the phaser lately. So, can you dig it? Do you play any guitar with P90s like a Junior? Wayne, I actually have been working on a signature P90 pickup with our friends from Fishman. That'll be coming out in a new Reverend model. It was supposed to come out in the fall, but due to COVID kind of delaying everything, it's not going to come out until this. I think I'll probably get my mitts on mine with. I've got one here with. Some people have seen me play it. It's a cool turquoise color. Tosa turquoise, we're calling it. And it has the Reverend P90s in it, which sound magnifico. But they are, like all P90s, in certain instances when you add the heat, it gets a little on the noise patrol. Some people love the noise. I personally would prefer it without the noise. So I worked on some pickups with Fishman. And so they're going to be P90s with 2 voices, no noise, and that'll be coming out on that Reverend instrument, as I said, December, January-ish. Mason Pitt says, your harmonic vibrato on your GK Koch amp sounds delish. Thank you very much. I love it. Favorite guitar tone of all time? That is hard to say. There's many different tones that I love. Certainly the live cream sound of Clapton, I adore. Fresh Cream, I love that tone. The Blues Breakers tone. I love the Peter Green tone from the Live in Boston. It's fantastic. Dickie Betts, Dwayne Allman on Live at the Fillmore. Jimmy Page's tone on anything, really. His tone was always great. Am I right? How about, Hendrix. I mean, anything of Jim's. But my favorite live Hendrix tone, around early 69, when this his tone that he had on that Albert Hall show is great. The live version of Little Wing and Red House that's on Hendrix in the West, that tone is delightful beyond all measure. It's a tone that I always dug, and then I listened to it back again, and I still like it no matter what anyone says, was Clapton's clean Strat sound on the Just One Night record. Both his tone and Albert Lee's tone on there is fantastic. The first Dire Straits record, it's a great tone. Obviously, all the Dire Straits records are great, but the first one was one of those where you're just like, oh, that's so delicious. Albert Collins' tone at any time. was magnificent. Albert King's tone, B.B. King's tone on like the Blues is King live record, or Live at the Regal. It's fantastic. Bloomfield's tone, especially on the live stuff from the Fillmore, sounds magnificent. Stevie Ray Vaughan's tone, absolutely. Grave, have you ever played any Bogner amps? I have. That's a good sounding amp, I have to say. I haven't messed around with them a bunch, but when I have plugged in, I was like, man, this sounds good. Anyway, do you keep all your guitars in? Do you keep any guitars in alternate tunings? You know what? I've been playing a bunch of tunes in open G lately that we've been performing. So yes, I keep one in open G. Well, folks, listen. Thanks so much for tuning in. We had a little bit longer verbiage session today, which is good, clean fun. Les Dudek, absolutely, it was a great guitar. It is great. Santana's tone, yes. Oh, thank you, Mason. Bless your heart. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central. And Dylan and I will be doing our Fishman takeover. And we'll be rocking. Again, if you're interested in any of the guitars I've played, you can certainly go to wildwoodguitars.com. And I believe they're listed above or below, or whatever the information is listed on whatever feed mechanism you're watching on, whether it be YouTube or the Facebook. So we had this custom shop Telecaster, and we had the thin skin 72 Tele. There you have it. Of course, you can't get my 53 Tele. That's mine. So there you have it. You and your band were great on the pedal show. Well, thank you very much, Wayne. I appreciate that. All right, folks, thanks so much. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.